Alright lads, so let's talk about Full Hollow Ichigo. It's a form of Ichigo that I would consider my favorite form of all time. It's so badass, it's so cool, and that's why it's absolutely criminal that its only two characters are two normal attack damage characters. And for today's video, we're here to talk about a potential remake that this character is going to receive hopefully later this year, hopefully later this month. Who actually knows when we are about to get this character remade? But what is certain is that the character will get a 9th anniversary renewed version. We saw that obviously last month in June, as we did get a 9th anniversary renewed Mugetsu Ichigo, one of the 4 anniversary characters, and past anniversary characters have been getting remade, getting good characters, so it's only a matter of time before we do get a Full Hollow Ichigo. When will we actually get that? That's a good question, and honestly we don't know. My hope is that August mid-month is going to have a very similar banner to Mugetsu Ichigo, where he's guaranteed in 10 steps, and that'll be the perfect way to wrap up the 9th anniversary. But they very well could just release him during the end of month banner, maybe pair him with Full Hollow White Ichigo and also White Zangetsu. That would actually be a really cool banner if they do want to release him outside of an anniversary, but of course still give him the anniversary character treatment. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Because I love this character, because I love this form, he's quite frankly probably the main reason why I continued playing this game when his first ever character released all those years ago. And with the fact that he's potentially going to get a remake sometime hopefully this year, right? Let's go over how I would personally design a remake of Full Hollow Ichigo. But remember, I'm not a game designer. I'm just here to have a bit of fun, speculate on what my potential favorite character of the year could be. And funny enough, we did something very similar to this with Mugetsu Ichigo, where the concept for that video was more so to make the most broken character in the game. With this particular character concept, we are going to keep it quite tame and have it be somewhat similar to Mugetsu Ichigo, because you would like to think both of them, if they did release, would be very similar in power levels. You wouldn't want one to be significantly more broken, right? Although I wouldn't mind Full Hollow being the better character. So first and foremost, when it comes to how I would make this character based on the current existing game's meta, I would firstly make him a mind character. And there's a few reasons why I have made this decision. So first and foremost, the last 2 Full Hollow Ichigos have been mind. It's just kind of been their thing, which is kind of ironic because this Ichigo that's basically a mindless beast, only working off natural instincts. But I think it would be kind of funny if that's just his gimmick. Anytime we get a Full Hollow Ichigo, they're a mind character. In fact, our most recent similar character to Full Hollow Ichigo was 8th Anniversary White in terms of design, and he was also a mind character. So yeah, let's just make that their thing. Give us a Full Hollow Ichigo, make him a mind character. And besides the fact that his past versions have been a mind character, another reason why I want him to be mind is hypothetically if they did release him during the 9th anniversary, let's say 2 weeks from now. As far as SP characters have gone during the anniversary, we have received a technique, speed, power, heart, but we've yet to receive a mind SP character. Of course, we have gotten a mind character, that being Sergeant, but he's a brave battle character. So mind at this current point I think will just work for him, so let's go with that. When it comes to his killer effect, honestly, if he is a mind character, this is the most awkward part. I would like to give him 2 killers. I would like to give him a killer plus. That's the current trend that we have been seeing. But obviously, as we did see with Mugetsu Ichigo, he only got 1 killer, so just to make it fair, I'm only going to give him 1. And in this case, I chose to give a Ronka. Now, for Guild Quest content, it might not be most ideal, since we did recently just get Swimsuit Bambietta. But as far as the mind attribute does go, they are quite stacked. They have a great character with Quincy Killer, they have a great Hollow, no affiliation, Soripa, etc. Realistically, we're just missing a relevant SP mind character that has a Ronka killer, because if you have a look at your mind of Ronka killers, the most recent one being a mid-month Aizen. So that ultimately is my main reason why I have gone with the Ronka kill ability. When it comes to his soul trait, I didn't want to copy Mugetsu, but I wanted to make it feel a tad bit different compared to the usual 12% recharge. So in this case, I chose to go for a link that we've been seeing quite often. I believe 2 characters that come to mind have actually gotten this soul trait. 40% more strong attack damage only when at full stamina. As a link, truth be told, you're not going to use it all that much, but it's overall a good damage increase nonetheless. That, of course, will then take us into the skill section. In this case, you can't really see it, but I will have it on screen right now. The innate abilities are going to be all status immunity, long stride, and also sprinter +3. It's Full Hollow Ichigo, right? He needs to be fast. With the kit that I've designed him, we're going to talk about that in a minute, you're going to want to keep up. You're going to want to have the most flash steps possible. And from my knowledge, as far as Ichigo does go, funny enough, it's the exact same innate abilities as Mugetsu Ichigo. Long stride, sprinter +3 would work for him. And of course, you don't want any new character, especially someone as cool as Mugetsu, an anniversary remake, to be not immune to every statusman, right? You want him to be immune to every statusman, and that's why we've gone ahead and done that. When it goes to the skills, so first up, we're giving him a 60% Berserker. This, in combination with the 40% strong attack damage at full stamina, basically puts him at 100% Berserker, and then to follow up with that, we have Frenzy +2. When you do inflict a status ailment, we are then going to get a 100% SP boost, and that is going to be the main chunk of his damage. And that in itself, honestly, is actually quite respectable, right? Obviously, nowhere near the new 9th anniversary characters, but we're keeping it quite tame here. Obviously, to help us inflict status ailments, we are then going to give him an increased chance to inflict status ailments, in this case only against Aronkas. I'm a bit indifferent on which one I would prefer, whether it would be only against Aronkas when he has Killer, or whether it would be against, you know, the entire heart attribute. So you can definitely go either rule here, it really depends on what you prefer. Obviously, in a perfect scenario, we would prefer Debilitator, an increased chance against everyone. And that's eventually going to happen sometime in the future, but probably not right now for a full Hollow Ichigo remake. To continue on with that, we're going to give him the standard stuff that he needs, 12% recharge because he lacks that in the soul traits. Weaken defense, just to make sure his soul does more damage, and also most importantly, lets you do more damage after using the soul bomb. When they're going to have the standard Marauder, because we do not want another 1000-year Blood War Soifon debacle. We're going to give him Poise, because I just feel like it's appropriate. Truth be told, it doesn't really help out the character all too much here, but given that it's full Hollow, I feel like it just makes sense. And then to finish up the character's last two skills, Debilitator, that was something the 9th anniversary renewed Ichigo did lack, and I guess to make this character feel a tad bit special and also to further increase his damage output, what I'm going to do here is a hollow damage to status afflicted enemies plus 30%. And that's basically very similar to what we saw with 9th anniversary Gremmy, where he gives 30% more damage to Quincy's, to any enemy that is inflicted with a status ailment, and I kind of want to do that for full Hollow Ichigo. Now I chose to do hollows because maybe in this banner, hypothetically, you release a white Ichigo, you release a white Tenshinhan Getsu. It will be a full hollow banner, quite literally 3 hollow characters. It will be kind of nice to see a banner like that where characters kind of just work well together. And in this case, this Ichigo will be doing a lot of damage, but also potentially buffing the other existing and also the potential future hollow characters. This, for the most part, would be more so for him just to do more damage, with some potential decent synergy in the future. I could see at the top of my head right now, 6th anniversary Aizen, for example, could take advantage of this. I would have it at 40%, but as we did with Gremmy, it seems like if you are giving damage to status affected enemies, if it's to a whole type of affiliation and not just an attribute, it seems to be a tad bit lower, only at 30%. So with these skills, I think it would make him a very solid mind character. Again, we are keeping it quite tame here, right? I would love to give him, you know, Rampage, for example, enemies defeated bonuses, but I do want to keep the character in kind of the same power level as someone like Mugetsu Ichigo, as to not show clear bias, but I do want to also give him some, maybe some special stuff that we did see get introduced during the 9th anniversary, again, like the status afflicted enemies plus 30%, only to the hollow affiliation. This, of course, would make him one of the best mind characters in the entire game, and that's just based on the skill set alone. Let's have a look at the strong attacks. So again, like I mentioned, no EX attack, as much as I would love to do that. I think it would be quite unfair for the Mugetsu fans, but when it comes to the strong attack here, so I just want to keep it very simple, right? His SA1, we're going to make a lunge forward, but the lunge in particular is going to be very similar to Flyzen or the most recent 1000-year Blood War Soifon. But for those that don't know the details about this attack and what makes it so special, is that it's a lunge forward with some pretty good range, but has really good AoE to it, a 900 AoE overall. It has been regarded as the best strong attack one in the entire game, and it's an attack outside of the most recent 1000-year Blood War Soifon that we haven't seen since 2017. So it's really quite exciting that 1000-year Blood War Soifon does have this attack, and it's nice to know Kelab have not forgot about this particular attack. And since they brought it back with Soifon, let's keep the momentum going and put it on for Hollow Ichigo. His previous character had a lunge forward, so it would be nice to have that, but this time the upgraded version of said lunge. For the second strong attack, we're going to go with an additional lunge. Yes, we're making him a double lunge character. It's something that we very rarely ever see, and coincidentally, where obviously the inspiration came from, 4th anniversary for Hollow had a double lunge strong attack here. I think the idea of it is kind of cool, and again, it kind of just matches the full Hollow playstyle that you would expect of a character like this, just lunging forward, and that's why we also given him a Sprinter +3 and Long Stride to make him a very fast character, always moving forward. Now, the SA2 lunge in particular, we're going to do the best SA2 lunge, the 7th anniversary Uryu lunge, right? Where it has really good range, it has 2 parts to the attack, and again, has an AoE near the end. That way, While yes, maybe a double lunge strong attack kit wouldn't be the most ideal playstyle, we've never seen a double lunge playstyle like what I'm suggesting here, right? You basically have the two best lunge attacks in the entire game, the best lunge SA1, the best lunge SA2. I think it would honestly work. When it comes to his SA3, instead of going with the standard full screen, since he is constantly moving forward, we're going to give him an AoE in front of him. 1170 radius, very similar to Yachu's SA3, without, of course, the trap effect. Very simple strong attack hit, but I think in practical use, with the skills this character does have, it would make him one of the more fun characters in the entire game. Would it make him the best Mind character though? Probably not, because unfortunately Mind does have quite the stacked attribute. Again, Ishin exists, Yuhara exists, but I think with this particular, strong attack kit, with the skills that he does have, how much usability he's going to have, I feel like he'd definitely be a contender as one of the best Mind characters in the entire game, but that's not really that important. What would be most important here is a fun, playable SP Full Hollow Ichigo, because that's the unfortunate part, right? The previous Full Hollow Ichigo unfortunately got the short end of the stick. So if they did want to make Full Hollow Ichigo more special when compared to Mugetsu Ichigo, I honestly wouldn't mind it, given how bad 4th Anniversary Ichigo was. For those that weren't playing at the time, he was an anniversary character and ended up being a Brave Battle character. That in of itself was absolutely wild, and at the same time, the character itself was a counter to Yachiru Unohana at the time, and honestly didn't even do the best job. So he was basically dead on arrival, which is absolutely wild for an anniversary character, and it's been kind of sad ever since that we've only had 2 Full Hollow Ichigos, and both of them have been just relegated to being a Nat character. Obviously, normal attack damage characters at the time of the first character release wasn't that bad. At the time of this character's release, there was actually a debate whether attack-based characters or SP characters were actually better. You could make a valid case for either or, but obviously since then, SP characters have been getting better, so I definitely do want this Full Hollow Ichigo remake to be an SP character, because quite frankly, that's something that we've never had in 9 years of Bleach Brave Souls. If they did want to go down the route of making him a normal attack damage character, they best make him very similar to Thousand Jibutto Eyes, and I'll say that at the very least. Now, I actually forgot to mention it, but the stat augments that we can inflict on this character, if you can't see the graphics, is Weakening and Lacerate. That's probably something I should have touched upon real quick, but the main reason why I chose these stat augments is because I think Lacerate would make sense on a character like this, that being Full Hollow Ichigo, that kind of just cuts and slashes. The previous 2 Ichigos that we have gotten don't have any stat augment, and I definitely do not want that to be the case for Full Hollow Ichigo. If he did get no stat augment, he would end up being a farmer, and I don't want that. I want him to be a broken SP character. So Lacerate would make most sense, but Lacerate on its own, I don't think is that good. I mean, I'd take it over no stat augments, and right now the current leading stat augment combination that we are seeing that is meta in both Guild Quest and also Limit Breaker, and overall just very powerful combo in general, is Weakening and also Lacerate. So I chose to go with that. That will make him do overall more damage, and essentially when you do inflict the stat augment, you're doing, 80% more damage, on top of the fact that you have a 100% SP boost, Frenzy 2, and a 100% Berserker, basically. Yeah, I think with the strong attack kit that I'm suggesting, that would be a very fun character. Now, is that ever going to happen? No, probably not, but it could be similar enough. My hope, though, is that they make the character fun. I've been waiting for a Full Hollow remake. Chances are it's going to happen sometime this year because, again, they are remaking anniversary characters. We just got a Mugetsu remake. Let's get a Full Hollow remake. Again, best chance to release that, I would say August mid-month, guaranteed in 10 steps. Perfect way to wrap up an anniversary. Or if they want to do them in like the end of month of November, October, they definitely could do that. And as for the characters you can pair with him, a Full Hollow White Ichigo, or of course, a White Zangetsu. You can do all 3 if you wanted to. And now that I'm thinking about it, that would be a very exciting banner, by the way. All 3 of these characters haven't had remakes in years, and all 3 in the same banner, yeah, that would just look absolutely hard. Either way, that's the video for today. Just a bit of a ramble, just a bit of speculation, have a bit of fun, discussing a character that I'm very excited about. Hopefully get a remake later this year. Let me know how you would design him. Either way, see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.